Channel Japan.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Yasu Ota.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo. From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to know what's happening in Japan, this is where you find it. First up is Executive Insight, in which we feature the heads of Japan's leading companies. So Ota-san, who will we be hearing today?
Well, first let me ask you, when you were in elementary school,
Yes.
did you take any classes outside of school?
Classes outside of school, meaning studying classes like cram school?
Cram school?
Not myself, but some of my friends went to cram school.
Oh, you didn't?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I have some data here. In Japan, about 20% of elementary school students go to private cram
I
schools.
see.
20%. Cram school provides students with extra lessons to build on what they learned at school and improve their academic ability. Demi-san, I'm sure you've heard of Kumon.
Yeah, of course. They operate school at a complementary education, and I believe it's unique to Japan, I think.
That's right. Kumon is now expanding overseas, mainly in Asian regions. Kumon has become synonymous with the Japanese study method and is gaining a recognition internationally. We recently had a chance to speak with the president of Kumon. Take a look.
Executive Insight. Schools are typically a place where education is carried out in a structured format with set lessons and timetables. Students acquire most of their knowledge by listening to their teachers. But at Kumon, the method of study is slightly different. Let's take a look. First, there are no teachers standing in front of the students. The children seem to be spending their time freely. Their ages vary widely. An elementary school student sits next to a junior high school student. Through this unusual style of education, Kumon generates nearly $1 billion in annual revenue. The president is Akio Tsunoda.
例えば10人なら10人の生徒がいらっしゃって先生は一斉にこうやってみんなにやらせるっていうんじゃないんですね。
That's right.
バラバラだと効率が悪いような気もしますけどそうでもないんですか？
Actually, under the typical teaching method, classes are limited to students who are at the same skill level. I think for most people, the image of a teacher is someone who stands in front of a blackboard and teaches students. At Kumon, teachers need to observe children and not just superficially. They need to provide children with the most appropriate material. That's the most important aspect.
いわば公教育の教室の先生とちょっと違いますね、印象は。
You could say there's a big difference.
In fact, Kumon has been able to build an efficient business precisely because of its departure from conventional teaching methods. The Kumon Way. Number 1, no textbooks. In Kumon classrooms, there are no standard textbooks. Instead, behind the teacher's desk is a shelf filled with stacks of papers. They are worksheets that students must do that day. For example, these are math worksheets which are handed out based on the skill level of the students.
This is the very first worksheet they get. They learn how to count from 1 by pointing at a dog.
赤ちゃんぐらいの時から
These worksheets go all the way up in difficulty, and this is the last one.
は難しい。
これも対数ですよね。
あれこれは高校レベルですね。
はい。ですね、こっち
It's similar to climbing a small set of stairs. We call these small steps. They're all connected.
つながってるんですね。
The Kumon Way. Number 2. No teachers. This is 5th grader Taishin Suzuki. He's been coming here since kindergarten. On this day, he's given a slightly difficult math problem to solve. He seems stuck. Meanwhile, a person who appears to be a teacher walks around the room, but doesn't offer any help. At Kumon, there are no teachers. She's called an instructor.
自力でやっぱり教材に向かって自学自習ができるように導いていくのが私たちの仕事だと思ってますので、あくまでも主体は生徒さんで、私たちは黒子のような役割だと思っております。はい。
So how are students able to solve problems on their own? A closer look at the worksheet shows an example on top that gives all the information for students to work independently. Taishin's pencil starts moving. He answers the question all by himself. And 15 minutes later, he's done. His work is graded. If there are any mistakes, students must redo their worksheets until they get all the answers correctly. The repetition is said to improve their abilities. In Japan, Kumon charges a monthly fee of about $75 per subject for elementary school students. Depending on their skill level, students can complete as many worksheets as they can without additional fees. Taishin is a 5th grader, but
大学のセンター試験の受けられるところまで、これが終わると大体受けられるので、はい、そこまでの力を今つけてます。
The instructor's role is to provide appropriate problems to the students and evaluate their results. We want to strengthen their self-esteem and confidence. Of course, if they're stuck on a problem, we'll point them in the right direction, but the instructor's role is to encourage them.
なるほど。なるほど。
they are now expanding this unique study method overseas, including in the US. Currently, classes are offered in 47 countries and regions to nearly 3 million students. The exact same teaching materials used in Japan are translated into local languages.
海外でもよく見かけるんですが、
はい、
よく日本の教育が浸透したなと思うんですが、なぜ受け入れられていったと思われますか？
One reason is the content of our study materials. We focus on building the foundations of reading and writing and math. If we were providing a study method of simply transferring knowledge through textbooks, then I think we would only gain limited acceptance. Also, in our classes abroad, we make sure that instructors are local residents, not Japanese. That's because education has local roots. Our instructors need to be committed to their respective regions and the children there, so they need to be local residents.
Mr. Tsunoda showed us how Kumon's educational business got its start.
This is our founder and our first student. This is Toru Kumon and Takeshi Kumon. And this is our treasure.
創業者であるクモンさんが作った
That's right.
ですか？
そうです。こういうふうに一枚一枚。
クモン式ですね、これ。
The origin was a study method created by a father for his son 55 years ago. Through continual improvements, that worksheet has evolved over the years into its current form. This is footage of an annual study meeting held in various regions for instructors. Participants discuss and share their experiences and knowledge.
We haven't changed our original method of instruction. We're constantly revising our study materials, but haven't changed anything else. That makes it possible for us to study and learn from past cases. We wouldn't be able to do this if we kept using completely new study materials.
工夫をしたらいいんではないかとか、ここを教材直したらいいんではないかという声が集まってくる仕組みになってるわけですね。
そうですね。
That's right. We actually collect that information and use it to make revisions. It's how we continually improve the quality of our educational method.
To expand the number of classes as efficiently as possible, the company uses a franchise system similar to convenience stores.
会社としてのビジネスの側面を伺うと、利益というのは、売上というのはフランチャイズフィーが利益、売上になるんでしょうか。
Yes, it does.
供給されるものの動きもあると思いますが、これの販売はないんですか。
いや、それはもう
It's a total package. We don't sell our study materials as a standalone product. Training in our instruction method is part of the deal. The instructors pay us a royalty fee in return.
それに対するロイヤリティという形ですのでね。
However, Kumon faces a major headwind in Japan. The shrinking population, which could mean fewer numbers of students in the future. In response, they've started developing new markets. Targeting mothers who attended Kumon as children, they launched classes for babies in 2012.
優しく仰いでくれています。ケロケロ、いないいない、ケロケロ、ケロケロ、バー。
They also launched experimental classes for the elderly. Kumon's iterative study methods are said to be beneficial for the brain.
高齢者の認知症の方々ですか、でも適用できそうな感じがあるんですね。
これはすごい壮大な
This is a massive theme for us. More studies need to be carried out from a medical point of view, but there are already quite a few institutions that have adopted our method.
もう随分ですね、導入していただいている施設。
This is only a personal opinion, but we've noticed that people who have undergone our study therapy are more energetic than before they started.
元気さが変わる方もいるんですね。
やっぱりできて嬉しいと、こう脳が活性化するんですよね。
That's right.
Breaking with convention, Kumon is opening new markets for its educational business around the world.
Time, it's only time. We are in this time. It's just
As life moves ever faster, we're an engine that helps your business accelerate. We're an eye that examines your health. We're a gentle light that guides you home. Wish for something better. Trust us to create it.
Giving shape to ideas. Konica Minolta.
ยังจำได้หรือเปล่านะ เรื่องต่างๆที่เกิดขึ้นตอนวาดรูปนี้ แต่ถ้ารถยนต์ในฝันของฉันมีจริง ฉันคงจะมีความสุขมากเลย
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce some Japanese popular documentary program. Today, it's an episode from Japanese Dream by TBS. Well, Ota-san, what's the topic today?
Our topic is food. As you know, in Tokyo, it's possible to try out a variety of national cuisines. Devin-san, do you have any particular favorites?
My favorite is, of course, Japanese, but I also like Mexican, Italian, Spanish, French.
So many. In recent years, Japanese food has become quite popular in many countries. We take a look at the effort of one chef, the who working with established Japanese cuisine as an international food standard.
Well, let's have a look.
In April 2012, a list of the world's 50 best restaurants was unveiled in London, England. The annual event is considered the Oscars of the culinary industry. One person from Japan has taken the stage 3 years running.
28, it's Nihon Ryori Ruagin.
42-year-old Seiji Yamamoto. He is now one of the world's most famous Japanese chefs. From traditional to modern, he is constantly challenging convention.
Cooking is a science.
Grande, sensei. No, sensei. Que yo voy a los restaurantes a comer bien, pero también a divertirme, a pasármelo bien.
Which to me is amazing, unique in our own way, and it's okay to share.
Recipes are the lifeblood of a chef, but Mr. Yamamoto willingly spills his secrets to the world.
Japanese cuisine isn't an international language. French and Chinese foods are appreciated by people of all nationalities. We can't be satisfied just because Japanese people think Japanese food is good.
In 2012, Mr. Yamamoto flew to Hong Kong. His purpose was to standardize what constitutes delicious Japanese food around the world.
I have a dream.
Mr. Yamamoto's restaurant, Nihon Ryori Ryugin, is located in Roppongi, Tokyo. The reason for his international reputation can be found in his kitchen.
Table 8 and 9, start. Private room server.
The entire staff checks on the status of customers' tables.
I can hear all kinds of talk from everybody clearly. This makes it seem like people are shouting in my ear.
He's constantly thinking about the timing of preparing the next dish to ensure the exact temperature of the food when customers put it into their mouths.
Once it's ready, it has to be served.
Mr. Yamamoto's primary concern is the temperature of the food. These are fried sakura shrimp. They're in the oil for exactly 7 seconds.
The point is to fry only the shell. The shell is what gives the shrimp its fragrance and crispiness, but inside it's moist and succulent. I have to do that with every shrimp. That's the most important aspect. That's why the temperature and frying time have to be perfect.
There are special lamps that emit far infrared rays to make sure that the temperature remains constant while the food is being cut and arranged. There's no point if the food doesn't taste delicious when customers put it into their mouths. This has been his guiding philosophy from when he was still a no-name novice.
Cooking is a science.
Cooking in Japanese characters means to measure. Why are certain foods cooked a certain way? After investigating the reasons, Mr. Yamamoto discovered the rules of delicious food. It was Japanese cuisine's technological revolution. For example, charcoal grilled sweet fish. He applied an unprecedented cooking technique. Sweet fish live in fresh water, but he lets them swim in salt water before cooking them. The reason?
The salt water goes into their stomachs through the gills and mouth, so they're salted on the inside as well.
This is his scientific method. The cornerstone of Japanese cuisine, the soup bowl. The dried bonito shavings used for soup stock are surprisingly thick. If they're too thin, they float to the surface, allowing the flavor to escape with the steam. Thick shavings force them to sink.
From the moment I shave them, they start talking to me. They might say, I'm a smoky type. They need to talk to me when they're in the broth. I'm constantly trying to pick up on what they're saying.
The bowl is served to the customer within 2 minutes after the dried bonito is shaved. It's after closing time, 2 a.m. Mr. Yamamoto is in the test kitchen. He's in the middle of videotaping his cooking technique, which will be aired over the internet. Recipes are the lifeblood of a chef, but amazingly, he freely gives them out to the world. Anyone can see and learn the techniques of one of the world's most famous Japanese chefs. In 2012, Mr. Yamamoto decided to spread Japanese food culture in a new way. His plan is to open a restaurant in the international city of Hong Kong. The location, 400 meters above ground. The 101st floor of the world's 4th tallest building. Until now, he rejected all offers to expand overseas. But Mr. Yamamoto made a decision. He felt this was the time to show the world real Japanese cuisine.
Japanese cuisine isn't an international language. French and Chinese foods are appreciated by people of all nationalities. We can't be satisfied just because Japanese people think Japanese food is good.
He's always looking for ways to innovate Japanese cooking. For example, cutting the bones of conger eels. Until now, they were cut with the knife held vertically against the cutting board. But Mr. Yamamoto cuts at a 25-degree angle in the direction of the bones to prevent them from becoming jagged. By doing so, the roughness of the bones is not noticeable when eating. This is charcoal-grilled natural giant eel. Over 1 meter long, they're juicy and fatty. But the thick bones can be trouble. The solution is a pair of surgical scissors. Using these to cut the bones minimizes the damage to the meat and ensures that the flavor isn't compromised. Before grilling, small holes are punched into the skin. Again, Mr. Yamamoto's style. Moisture and fat evaporate from the holes, in effect steaming the eel. The meat comes out soft and the skin exceptionally crispy. Meanwhile, in the kitchen of the Hong Kong restaurant, final preparations are being made. Mr. Yamamoto's right-hand man in Hong Kong is Master Chef Sato. On this day, Mr. Yamamoto is checking the taste of the dishes. He jots down notes with each bite. Next, the centerpiece of the entire course, the soup bowl. He quickly checks the aroma and flavor. When the tasting is over, his notebook is full. The verdict?
Can I tell you my honest opinion? First, the wet towels. The fold should be on the inside. It needs to be standardized. It's no good if they're all different. The seaweed is cut too small. It's horribly small. It's completely wrong. There's no excuse for that. The soup is lukewarm.
2 months later, Mr. Yamamoto arrives in Hong Kong again for another tasting. Can the chef please Mr. Yamamoto? The soup bowl that was criticized the last time. He's nodding his head. It seems to be okay. Next, Mr. Sato prepares the giant eel. As per Mr. Yamamoto's instructions, it's been carefully grilled.
You were able to get eel? Wow!
Mr. Yamamoto appears pleased.
If the sauce was a bit sweeter, it would be perfect.
When dessert is served, Mr. Sato comes out of the kitchen. Mr. Yamamoto's applause is a sign that the restaurant can open. This will be the start of a new style of Japanese cuisine. Mr. Yamamoto is full of gratitude toward the people who share his dream.
I wouldn't imagine any other place I could go to eat Japanese in Hong Kong. What is going on in the culinary world? Everyone can stop looking at Europe and start looking at Asia and Japan as the future of what's going to happen because of what he's doing.
What do the world's top chefs think about Mr. Yamamoto's dishes?
I think Yamamoto's spreading his message is fantastic. There is a lot of history and a lot of respect for the past. And now we have a new modern side of things as well.
Desde luego no dejen diferente a nadie. Y esto me excitante. Porque yo voy a los restaurantes a comer bien, pero también a divertirme, a pasármelo bien, a aprender. Y bueno, siempre ha sido para mí un maestro y realmente aprendo mucho, ¿no? Cuando tengo la oportunidad de estar con él.
I didn't know what they really thought about my food. I'm surprised. People overseas who've tried my dishes tell me that they want to visit Japan. Through my cooking, I'm able to let everyone know about the wonderful things that Japan has to offer. That's my dream.
Well, Ota-san, every time I go to the States or to the Europe, I notice that there are more and more Japanese restaurants newly opened.
Indeed.
Well, even when I was little, I used to live in the States, and they had sushi shops, like Japanese little soba place, and they even had a beef bowl restaurant there. Well, I know that the number of Japanese restaurants in Asian region is also growing.
There aren't any data on the exact number of Japanese restaurants across Asia, but for example, there appears to be a boom in Japanese food in Thailand. Take a look. This is a graph showing the number of Japanese restaurants in Thailand. Currently, there are 1,700, which is more than double what it was 5 years ago.
Yes.
As to why Japanese food has become so popular, there was a survey that was carried out. Okay, some of the reasons were because people felt it was fashionable or healthy, or they liked the taste, of course.
I think.
But the biggest reason given was presentation of the food, how it looks.
If any of our viewers still haven't tried Japanese food, please give it a try. Well, after the break, we'll be showing you a late night service in Japan.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
We've just added a new power shovel, and it's great.
Really? Who makes it?
Kobelco.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. And let me tell you, its fuel efficiency is incredible.
Oh.
Kobelco's power shovel delivers more while consuming less. Just like my sweetie.
Don't say that.
And powerful too.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Since ancient times, these massive stones have been bathed in sunlight. Local rituals, dating back to prehistoric times, attest to man's respect for the sun's power. The sun continues to nourish us, always, everywhere.
Today, Panasonic is helping people reduce CO2 emissions with solar panels and other energy management technologies. Panasonic. Ideas for life.
Suzuki Way of Life.
The Norin Chukin Bank has a mission to fulfill. We are committed to the advancement of agriculture, fisheries, and forestry in Japan. Backing the network of our people and communities to help and support one another is a source of pride for us. This is our style of banking. We're banking on trusted networks. The Norin Chukin Bank.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce to some popular Japanese economics program. Today, it's an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite.
At a department store in Osaka. A crowd gathers at the entrance. In front of them stands what looks to be a young woman. When a boy presses on the touch panel, she answers. This android, modeled on a real person, is named Minami. With cameras and sensors, she recognizes her environment and answers questions that people ask her. The developer is an authority on androids, Osaka University professor Hiroshi Ishiguro.
同じぐらいしか動いてない。今日はたくさん人がいるなとか、あんまり人がいないとかね、こっち見てくれてるとか、手振ってるとか、そういうの全部認識して反応するようになってます。
Minami is controlled by just two computers. Her purpose is to study the effect of human-like androids on human activity.
お友達になってくれませんか？気に入ってもらえると、例えばスカーフ同じものをつけたいとか僕らあんまりそういうことは考えてなかったんですけど、なんかスカートが売り切れちゃったりしたとかね。
Several clothing items worn by Minami have sold out, and store customers have increased by 20%. This has been described as the android effect. We visited Professor Ishiguro's laboratory. Being pushed in a chair is Professor Ishiguro? This is actually his android twin, Geminoid, named after Gemini in Greek mythology. Once connected to a computer, it begins to speak.
出張の多い先生ですから、体が一つでは足りないということで、私のようなアンドロイドが利用されています。
Properly groomed and posing in a similar fashion, it's hard to know who is who. What happens when the line between a human and a robot is blurred? To find out, the professor built his android twin. Since the professor is often away on business, this android takes his place at various events.
今日の私もそうなんですけれども、じゃあ、みなみちゃん、よろしくお願いします。
はい。
But this isn't the only focus of his research. In contrast to the human-like android, this one is strangely shaped.
Oh, 恥ずかしくなくていいよ。
やっぱり会話してるね。
A research assistant is holding it and having a conversation. This is called a telenoid.
そうね。いつか考えるだけでテレノイド。
見えてるんですか？
見えてます。はい。こっちから見えてるわけじゃなくて、あそこのカメラから見えてるんです。
なるほど。振動するんだ。はい。
一応
声に合わせて口が動いてくれるんですよね。あ、口も動くし。はい。
The person speaking is on the other side of the wall. Special software allows the android to recreate the actual user's facial movements. The arms are being manipulated by a video game controller.
インターネット回線さえあれば、ここの場所じゃなくても、回線がある場所なら世界中でも。
The internet connects people around the world. By incorporating this android, the professor hopes to promote a more realistic form of communication.
でもハグしてくれるんですよ。返してくれる。これは
The professor's research has given birth to other products.
クッションなんですけど、ここにスマートフォンを入れるんです。携帯を入れるんですね。お互いに抱くしながらこんな感じで喋るんです、ね。
ここで喋れるんです。
そうです。夫婦同士だったんですね。カップルとかすごい気持ちよく、電話できると思うんですけど。
This is a robot shop in Akihabara, Tokyo. The cushion is already being sold here.
いろんな年齢層の方から問い合わせがありまして、日本のいろんな各地から問い合わせが来ております。でもサラリーマンの方が買われたりだとか、そういうこともあります。
The manufacturer is a company involved in robotics research. It's said that the role of robots is undergoing a dramatic transformation.
昔はそのコミュニケーションじゃなくてロボット自体が動くことで精一杯だったんですけど、今はもう動くのはもう当たり前になって、それで何をするのかっていう仕事の中に一つはやっぱ大きなものはコミュニケーションがあると思いますんで。
The professor says by controlling the android remotely, he has the ability to be anywhere at any time.
手を震え合ってですね、ドキッとするなんてことが起これば、もう十分人間だと思うんですよね。
So what changes will androids bring to human communication and interaction?
バーチャルな世界と現実の世界の
中間的な存在ですね。今のロボットの技術があればもっとリアルなそのコミュニケーションの手段を提供できると。
Such androids may open the door not just to better communication, but also to new ways of expressing human emotion.
It's very surprising to find out about the potential applications of androids. Well, Oda-san, what's our next topic?
Well, David-san, how many hours of sleep do you get every day?
The shortest is probably about 4 hours, but usually I sleep about 6.
That's short?
Yeah.
I sleep about 7 hours. I have very interesting data here. As you can see, the South Koreans and Japanese apparently get fewer hours of sleep compared to people in other Asian countries.
Right.
And that seems to be declining even more every year.
Well, I'm actually not surprised because especially in Tokyo, people stay out so late at night.
I completely agree. There are a lot of businesses that cater to night owls in Japan, not just in Tokyo, but in various other cities and towns. Take a look at some of these unique services.
Ginza, Tokyo. It's midnight. The last train has left the station. People begin lining up outside. They're not waiting for a taxi.
12時過ぎまでありますし、タクシーよりは断然安いので、
They're waiting for a midnight bus. It's relatively inexpensive and popular with office workers heading home. The reason?
家の近くまで行ってくれるんで。
There are 6 buses that go to the suburbs of Tokyo. They stop at numerous stations along the way, much like a regular bus. Being able to get off close to home is a big attraction. When boarding, customers tell the driver where they want to go and pay the fare. It costs a little over $30 to the last stop. Taking a taxi is 10 times more expensive. An attendant called a porter writes down and keeps track of customers' destinations. He also goes around and checks where they're sitting. The bus is filled almost to capacity. 10 minutes after setting out, the lights are switched off. This customer is fast asleep. 1 hour later, the bus is nearing a station. The porter stands up. This is another reason for its popularity. The porter wakes up customers at their designated stop. Even if you fall asleep, there's no need to worry.
2000円から3000円で乗れるですね、需要を開拓していく余地がまだまだあるんじゃないかなというふうに思っております。はい。
There's another car that runs even later into the night.
こういった夜までサービスを提供するようにしたところ、たくさんの方からご好評いただいて。
The car reaches a residential area. A woman opens the door. It's a laundry service. It's run by a housekeeping service company called Kajitaku. Their call center is open until 11 p.m., and pickups and deliveries are offered until 2 a.m. Prices are a bit more expensive than a regular laundry service, with one dress shirt costing about $4.
料金的にはやっぱお高い感じなんですか？まあちょっとそういう感じはありますけど、まあそれよりも便利さをお金で買うような感じですかね。
They have about 25,000 members in Tokyo who use the service regularly.
今まで無理だった時間帯に付加価値をつけるっていうことで、そこの部分で今まで取り切れてなかったお客様がご利用いただいているかなという感じですね。はい。
There's another business in Osaka that operates much later. They don't have any flashy signs, but inside this kitchen, they're busy cooking. This is beef stew. Over here, curry-flavored udon noodles. A mixture of Western, Japanese, and Indian dishes.
イタリアンとカレーとうどんを深夜まで宅配しております専門店でございます。
This is, in fact, a service that offers menus from 3 different food delivery shops. Each shop makes its own flyers. What's more?
天津飯の専門店をこの度始めまして。
In May 2012, a Chinese omelet shop was also added to the mix. These udon noodles cost about $11, but there's a $2 delivery charge plus a midnight fee of $1 for each dish ordered. While they're open during the day, orders between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. account for over 30% of daily sales. 4 shops are part of this service, but to maintain a sense of independence, there's a rule when taking orders. The employee doesn't mention the names of the shops. Once the customer says the product name, the employee can immediately check which shop the order is being placed to. In front of the phone are the menus of the 4 shops. Midnight deliveries have become a big hit, and the phone continues to ring until 3 a.m. Their sales have grown 5% every year. So who orders food at 3 a.m.?
大変長らくお待たせいたしました。すみません。はい、お待ちしておりました。みんな待ってましたよ。みんな待ってましたよ。ありがとうございます。
All of the food offered by their branches is prepared in one location. Right now, they're making Italian food, just like in an Italian restaurant. The head cook at Central Kitchen is actually a former chef at a top hotel. This midnight food delivery has expanded from Osaka to Nagoya and Tokyo. They currently operate 9 branches. The food is delivered to each branch from here.
ただ深夜に営業するっていうだけではなくてですね、やっぱり専門性が伴わないとなかなかお客様の支持はいただけないんじゃないかなと思います。
From dawn to dusk and dusk to dawn, the wheels of commerce are spinning continuously. Midnight may be the next battleground for urban businesses.
Well, since I work very late at night, I'd love to use the catering service in midnight. Yes.
Well, let me introduce you some other 24 hours businesses and services in Tokyo. First, this is 24 hours pet hospital.
I see. Well, I can understand, especially in with the pet boom that's going on in Japan, well, it would be helpful to have somewhere that you can check your pet.
Definitely.
Yes.
You need to give them care at night. So, and another one. This is a tatami mat shop that opens 24 hours a day. As you know, tatami mats are found in many Japanese homes.
Yes. Well, I don't understand. Would you need to fix your tatami at midnight?
At night? Well, there are a lot of restaurants and izakaya bars, drinking places they have a tatami floors, so they can't close during regular business hours just to have the tatami replaced. So they do it after closing time, and these 24-hour services, tatami service, are quite indispensable for them.
Well, it's definitely a business that's unique to Japan.
That's right. And another one. Here, a shop that sells casual apparel, mainly focused on jeans, called Jeans Mate.
I see.
They are also open for 24 hours a day.
Why is this necessary?
I think the one reason is the heavy competition in the market. So if the consumer recognize the shop is open for 24 hours, so people go to the place to get a pair of jeans. That's a reason, I think. And also they are making sales.
I see. Well, there are so many necessities for 24-hour businesses in Japan. Well, that wraps up this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so don't forget to tune in next week.
Perhaps it's true. Perhaps we've been in too much of a hurry. Day by day, technology advances. But sometimes we need to pause and listen to what nature is saying. Surely, steadily, and lovingly. These, we believe, are the essentials of manufacturing. Our technologies, your tomorrow. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
As the future evolves, Toyota is envisioning a more interconnected life where information and energy flow seamlessly throughout the globe. The road ahead will require diverse and eco-friendly mobility solutions. It is on this path that our small choices lead to big changes. Life. Connected. Toyota.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Traditional,
Consistent.
precise,
Speedy.
professional, innovative,
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Just a map and a heart full of courage. Our founders started out with little, but they dared to dream big. Today, our reach is global and our resources extensive. But we still have our eyes on the horizon. With courage, reaching out to the world. Mitsui & Company.
Channel Japan. Direct from Tokyo to the world, get the latest stories from Japan as they happen on the ground. Business, fashion, culture, and food. Everything you need to know about the hottest trends across the country. Channel Japan.